Welcome back. In this video, let's read and discuss some AITAs. I've got Reddit pulled up. Let's jump right into it. The first one is actually going to be a WIBTA. Would I be the asshole? Would I be the asshole for going camping on Mother's Day weekend? I, 29 female, have been wanting to go camping, and my husband, 30 male, said let's do it Mother's Day weekend, like we have before, because he knows I loved it when he surprised me. I left the Friday before Mother's Day and came home on Mother's Day and still got to see my mom, grandma, and aunts at the usual barbecue that they do. Granted, we came straight from camping, so we were a little dusty and the kids were happy but unkempt. Last year, my husband did this as a surprise. This year, he's letting me pick what site we go to and get new gear. I was telling my mom, 49, about this and how excited I was. She blew up and said that she can't believe we are doing this to her again. That she understands my husband didn't grow up with a real family. His mom passed when he was in high school and his dad was, well, shitty. But that in our family, we spend it together. I had no idea they had this talk. And I even pointed out how we didn't miss the barbecue. We made it there on time and had a great afternoon. She said she doesn't understand our generation. I had to fall in line and I don't understand why you don't. That's in quotes. I pointed out that while it's true that we grew up hearing her complain that she never got to do her own thing and that thought she'd be happy, my husband wanted to do something I love very much, even though he isn't a big fan. My dad, 51, I was at their house, interrupted and told me essentially to shut up and that if I went, we would have words. That made me feel like crap. My husband said he doesn't care, that if I wanted to, he'd take me for the whole week. I'm a mother too, and it's not that I've ever even missed Mother's Day with my mom. Not even when I was camping. I wanted to go, but now I feel bad. Would I be the a-hole if I went camping anyways? No. You should go camping, and you should specifically miss Mother's Day, and honestly, out of spite, you should probably not even call her this year, because that's a crazy reaction. That's, even, okay, I understand if you're upset, by all means, come and have a sit-down chat with me, and I can assure you that I'll be here for the full day, or whatever the actual root of the issue is, we can get to it, but, like, for a mom to just blow up like that, is really uncalled for and unnecessary, especially given that you literally didn't even miss anything so far. And you don't plan to miss anything. Like, even if you did plan to miss anything, like, that's the thing, is sometimes me and my mom don't always celebrate Mother's Day on Mother's Day. My mom, of course, prefers the whole gang to be there, and sometimes we do that on Mother's Day, or sometimes we do that at other times around Mother's Day. Like, real life does sometimes have to come first. I mean, and again, in this case, she's a mother too. It's her Mother's Day as well. If she wants to spend that camping with the fam, by all means. And I understand if they have this long running tradition of doing the barbecue there. I could understand wanting to keep that on and wanting her to continue to show up, even though she's going to have her own traditions now as well. That's what she's doing. She's literally, I don't know. I would give her some slack even if she were planning on not being there, frankly. But she's literally planning on being there. Let me quickly scroll the comments. I'm pretty sure it's going to be NTAs all the way down. Yep. And again, just to like point on that, like to touch on that point that like the mother was basically giving the point of like, well, I had to suffer, so do you. I thought the whole point of doing motherhood and children, and as I always say, take this with no grains of salt, because I'm not a mother myself, but when it comes to like motherhood, isn't the whole point to like provide them bigger and better than even you had? I don't know. So I don't really ever understand that mentality from parents that's like, well, I suffered, so you suffer. I don't get that. I don't like that. I don't think I would go about it that way myself. But AITA for keeping my stepmom at arm's length. So, my dad married my stepmom when I was 13, and he moved interstate to live near her family, away from my sister and me, despite my stepmom originally saying she'd move to him so he could stay close to us. Whenever I traveled to spend time with Dad, she'd find excuses so he couldn't hang out with me. She also locked nice snacks in the cupboard and ate them herself when she thought we weren't around. My mom became unwell and I asked to live with Dad because I was distressed and needed him, but my stepmom said no. Mom unfortunately then passed and I was on my own with my stepdad. Fast forward, and I have some half siblings who have dad and stepmom to themselves. I recently got engaged, and Dad mentioned contributing to the wedding. Then she downgraded the contribution to part of the dress. I know without a doubt that if her kids got married, she and Dad would fork out heaps to help them. I know this is an all too common story, but dang, I've done a lot of counseling to sort out in my heart and soul. I try so hard to be polite and kind and treat her the way I want to be treated. For some unknown reason, stepmom now wants forgiveness and a closer relationship with me, and I have no interest. AITA for having a big old fat boundary between me and her. I'm trying to forgive, but golly, it's hard to forget all of the awful stuff. I'm not sure that this is a person actually even asking for advice. This sounded a little bit more just like a vent session to me. I think the person sounds a little bit like they know that the boundary makes sense. The behavior between the two people, like, what she said, it's like when she wanted to stay there, she said no. It's like there's already bad history between the stepmom, and the kid, and it's just like, of course she'd be keeping her at arm's length, and it's like nobody's even, there's really wasn't even a climax of this story. Because nothing really even happened. It's just like you're just kind of keeping her at arm's length politely, right? I don't know, I expected something to happen between the two. I'm gonna scroll the comments. NTAs, pretty much. Please don't invite her to the wedding. Send her a message of utter disgust on how she treated you, and yes, let the family know why before she has a chance to poison the well. I don't know, that's a little dramatic. NTA for the boundary, but I think you need to rethink if keeping a relationship with your dad's worth it. He told you time and time again he doesn't value his relationship with you. Stop letting him treat you as though crumbs are valuable. Yeah, honestly, that's the thing too. The dad is like letting another person come between you and your child is pretty icky, in my opinion. Let's move on to another one. AITA for not sharing my inheritance. I, 50, female, brother 48, sister 53. Our parents got separated after 43 years. No one told me anything. They see me as person non grata for living my own life. I called my daughter. She told me of the separation 4 months after. I reached out to Dad. He was happy to hear from me and told me my siblings had cut him out of their life. I eventually talked Dad into moving to where I was to be closer and I could help him out. I talked to Dad every day. We started going for rides together on weekends, motorcycle bonfire cookouts, or just invite him around for home cooked meals. It was great. One day, Dad called to cancel our weekend ride, said he was not feeling good. I told him to go to the hospital. He insisted he was fine. I tried to call him on the next day. He didn't answer. I drove out to check him and discovered him on the floor. I went to the hospital every single day. My siblings and mother eventually showed up to visit him. I stayed in the hall. After the hospital and rehabilitation, he was sent to a skilled facility. After only 3 days, he started making comments about the staff there. About a week later, he asked me to give a camera to put in his room. After 2 days, I installed the nanny cam. I caught them abusing him horribly. I called the state, county, and filed everything on report I could. I hired Dad an attorney. After the attorney was hired, my siblings started to visit about every month. I thought the family was healing. We started doing things as a family. Dad got his justice. We received a settlement. With the help of a realtor, I found him a small house and started working on it to bring him home. Dad's health was getting worse. He entered hospice. I had the hospice case manager helping develop a home plan. Dad's health started declining rapidly. Not long later, hospice said that it would not be advisable to move him. I sat with Dad continuously, hired sitters to stay with him when I had to leave. When Dad passed, I went home and cried. My dad was my best friend. I pulled out Dad's will and took it to the county courthouse to to probate. I was told there was no need to probate it, that the will was my deed to Dad's house. Dad had filed a POD, payable on death, at the bank, listing me as the sole beneficiary. Our mother kept telling me it was not right. I needed to give my siblings equal share of the money. She guilted me to share some of it. I gave them each 15K, but apparently that's not enough. This was 4 years ago. Fast forward, August 23rd, 2023, I received a letter from an attorney demanding I will the house to my siblings, that if I didn't, they would sue me to compensate for the money I did not give them. I did not reply to the attorney. I sent him the POD form from the bank listing me as a sole beneficiary. I reminded him he had a copy of the will and asked him to look it over again, and he would see my siblings had no claim on anything. I have yet to hear a response from their attorney. Not NTA. It's not up to the receiver to dole that out. It's up to the person who wrote the will, and what they wanted in their last days was for it all to go to her. And if that backstory would indicate that, like, she's pretty deserving of such, it seemed like the other siblings only came back around when there was talk of maybe some money coming into hands, but other than that, they weren't around. And I feel like people don't necessarily notice how obvious those actions are. Like, I worked in caregiving for a long time, in hospice specifically, and there were so many instances of families like fighting over money, like right in front of me and the patient, the person on hospice, whether they were coherent or not sometimes. And it's just like, people get crazy. And I think it's awful that these people came back around just in time for money. You know what I mean? And I was gonna say, it's like it's a lot more apparent to, like, both the person on hospice, if they're coherent, whatever, and other people around, that it's like, you're obviously just here because you want whatever is going to be up for grabs soon. And it's just really disgusting behavior. It honestly is. Everyone here in the comments is saying NTA, and I completely agree. I don't think that's even really very controversial. I think it's just probably a really emotional one for her, because it has to do with her dad passing, and that was obviously a really emotional one if she's super duper close with him. And so it sucks that there has to be drama attached to something that's already so traumatic as, like, losing your dad and your best friend. AITA for walking out on my boyfriend while he's grieving. Probably. Let's hear the story. My 35 female boyfriend, 36 male, had to have his family dog put down. He is naturally devastated. I went round to his the day after, and we stayed in and had a few drinks. The next morning, I got up before him. When he got up, he just went straight into the kitchen and was washing up, so I went in from where I was in the living room, and he looked annoyed. I asked if he was all right, and he said no. I asked what was wrong, and he shouted at me, "What do you think is wrong? My dog just died. Just fuck off and leave me alone." Well, I retract what I said. Okay, why is this even on here? This is, I feel like the ones today are just, like, not hitting. So I did. I went and I got dressed, and as I was walking out the door, he asked where I was going. I told him home. When he asked why, I said that I get his dog just died, but he didn't need to tell me to fuck off when I was just asking what's wrong. He told me to go then and called me a twat. I sent him a message explaining that he didn't look like he was upset. He looked annoyed, so that's why I was asked what was wrong. He just said, okay, no apology. I've spoken to a couple friends who both say there are no need for him to speak to me that way, and they would have left too, but the way he's reacted makes me think he's hurt, and I left him whilst he's grieving. Yeah, I understand that he's hurt and grieving, absolutely, but even when dealing with difficult things, one is responsible for their own actions and, like, the way that they're acting towards others. Like, I get that you're grieving. That's exactly why you need to be nice to the person who's there for you, trying to be there. Like, that's crazy to just nastily snap like that. If that question like genuinely like super annoyed you, you could turn to her and be like, "Hun, I'm sorry, but that question just is really irking me. Like, if I'm like this throughout the next couple of days, you can know that it's attributed to that. Call it at that, and then she will definitely like not keep asking. You know what I mean? It's like it's I understand that sometimes you have to and explain even though you don't feel like it, but like that's not an appropriate reaction even when you're grieving. I'm gonna scroll down and see everybody's saying NCA. Yeah, that's the thing. And here's what I'm picking up on is that he's like, where's the part? Let me scroll back. Like, he gets this crazy snap of anger. Is like, just F off, leave me alone. She's gone for a few seconds. He, like, getting dressed a few minutes or so. She comes back and he's just like, la di da. Like, that's concerning. I don't know. Like, the extreme back and forth. Again, he gets a small amount of wiggle room because of the recent death, but like not that much wiggle. That's so far above and beyond. I don't know. These are really not hitting today. Let's see if we can. See if we can find a good one. All of these are like not. Hold on. Let me find a good one. Okay, this one's older, but it sounds interesting by the title. AITA for losing weight right before my sister's wedding. My first initial thoughts are no, absolutely not. I don't care if it stole the spotlight. If you lost a lot of weight and got healthy, good for you. But let's read the actual story and see. I, 28 female, used to be quite overweight. Over the last year or so, I've made many changes in my life and has successfully lost almost 100 pounds. I don't live close to any of my family, and I don't post on social media, so my family wasn't really aware of my weight loss. I did mention that I was making healthier choices, but that's it. It's just that every time before that I've tried to lose weight, it hasn't worked, so I didn't really want anyone commenting on it. My sister, 26 female, got engaged last year, and I'm super happy for her. Due to circumstances, the wedding had to be pushed back a little. It's happening a week from now, and because I haven't seen anyone in so long, I decided to come down 2 weeks earlier so I could help out and catch up. Well, when I came to see my family, my sister freaked out upon seeing me. As it turns out, she has gained a bit of weight. Not super noticeable, but she still looks great. But I think this is the first time in our lives that I'm smaller than her. I've always been the fat sister. She basically accused me of trying to upstage her, and my parents are fully taking her side. I'm really not sure if I'm in the wrong here, as so many of my family are taking her side of things. AITA for losing weight before my sister's wedding. Are you kidding? Like, your parents suck, for one. That's a crazy take from the parents. I can somewhat understand. Now, the sister's out of bounds, of course. But I'm just saying I can at least, like, a little bit understand feeling upset. Now, it's wrong to act on it, but to just be like that would be unfortunate for the fat sister to suddenly look so beautiful right when you're not feeling your best. I get it. I kind of understand. She's still so wrong for that, but the parents are crazy. That's insane to, like, discourage health and weight loss. She's not even saying like, oh, I did this crazy fad 30 days before the wedding or anything like crazy like that. You know what I mean? She's like, I just made a lot of healthy changes and I'm doing really well in life, health wise and weight wise. For your parents and your family and your sister to not support that is so unfortunate. That's sad and hard. NTA. And I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna scroll through the comments. This comment says, NTA, you didn't lose weight at her. Right? Like, what does that even mean? Girl, don't even go to the wedding if that's how they're gonna act. Cut toxic family out. Wow, how dare you lose an amazing 100 pounds? You decided to make healthier lifestyle choices. How dare you care for your health and make your insecure sister even more insecure due to her own problems? Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, that's just, she's insecure and taking it out on you, and that's not right. I suggest you simply say, I'm sorry, my current appearance has ruined your wedding. I'll head back home now. And then get on with your life. That's crazy. Yeah, I kind of knew right off the bat she'd be like jealous of her for stealing the spotlight. Like, I understand. Like, it's not like she showed up in a white dress. All right, relax. I think we'll call it there, though. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you like that video, don't forget to hit the little thumbs up down below. Subscribe while you're hanging out down there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.